show hosts, or their guests.
1470 AM and 95.3 FM, the Health and Wealth Radio Network. Don't miss the Save a Lot Nutrition Hour with Al Foreman and Janet Cimarelli, WNN. Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach and 95.3 FM, W237BD Boca Raton, the Health and Wealth Radio Network.
Staying healthy is difficult. What nutritional supplements should you take? What foods are best for you? What health practitioner should you see? You've got health questions, I've got health answers. From heartburn to hemorrhoids, pain to pimples, carpal tunnel to the common cold, gluten to gallbladder, and gingivitis, and all points in between. I'm Dr. Bob Martin. Tune into my Sunday talk show at 10 o'clock on Talk 1470 WNN.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hurricanes can cause severe damage to your home or property, so if you need storm repairs, make sure you use only Florida licensed contractors. Remember to check their references, get everything in writing, and don't pay up front. To verify your contractors are licensed, contact the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation online at myfloridalicense.com. That's myfloridalicense.com.
Hunger could be living next door to you. Hunger is found in every zip code, in every school, and every town. 1 in 8 Americans is food insecure. That's millions of children, working moms or dads, college kids, and retirees, waking up each morning not knowing if they'll have enough food for that day. Together, we can help end hunger in our community. This station is part of the Beasley Best Community of Caring. Learn more about ways to help fight hunger in your neighborhood. Or, if you're food insecure, find resources at our website today.
All of us want to make a difference. As veterans, we committed to protect our country. We served and sacrificed for the things that mattered most. Those experiences shaped our lives. Now we're husbands, wives, parents, and friends. And sometimes we forget that the biggest challenge can be asking for support. The Veterans Crisis Line is here for veterans. Dial 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. It matters.
Selfless service is the guiding principle that drives Army National Guard soldiers to be always ready whenever disaster strikes. Every Army National Guard member serves not only to protect the nation, but also their local communities, so they each have a stake in the security and well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They are your next-door neighbors and your colleagues in schools, offices, and factories. Since the early days of our republic, the Army National Guard has continued its timeless commitment to guarantee peace and security for all Americans, a proud legacy which has endured for nearly 4 centuries. To be a Guard soldier is to stand ready to serve at all times for family, for community, and for country. Selfless service, it's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area. Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing bottom line. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ag Council.
Now you can get Talk 1470 WNN on 95.3 FM, too. Loud and clear. Health and Wealth Radio, WNN.
The opinions expressed in the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise. and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Schub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Schub, and tonight, like we always do, we're going to talk a bunch of golf and some travel, and got some deals for you later on in the show so we can send you far and near on the cheap. That's one of our favorite things to do. Our other favorite thing to do is to bring on some interesting guests that we can talk to and get some expert opinions and information on what's going on in and around the area. Tonight will be no exception. In just a few moments, we will be chatting with Mike I, and he is the head golf professional at Piper's Landing Yacht and Country Club, which is up in my neighborhood, actually, in Palm City, which is in Martin County. A beautiful club that I had an opportunity to play at a couple of weeks ago, and had such a great time there. I thought that we would share a little bit more about the experience. And actually, some very, very close friends of mine just bought a house there in the past couple of weeks, and we'll be moving in there, and maybe if I'm lucky, they'll invite me to play, because when you live there, you're a member there, and it's a great experience. Also, speaking of great experiences, I had an opportunity last night to dine with Natalie Schreiber, who is a manager and event coordinator at the Melting Pot of Boca Raton, just I guess 3 wood away from where I'm sitting now in Boca Raton, and that was at the Melting Pot, which is just a great place. It's the second time I had a chance in the past year or two to visit with them, and they've got a new entree extravaganza, how about we call it, which is grilling at your table, where you get to grill your own food. So not only do they have the wonderful fondues that they've been famous for decades, they now also have grilled meats and fish and fowl, and it's just my mouth is watering talking about it. So it's all coming back to me from last night. It was just wonderful. So Natalie's going to share a little bit about what's going on over there, and this real new concept that they have where you can just grill incredibly tasty, well-seasoned food right in front of you and have that experience. What a great experience. So. But first, like we typically like to do, we're going to talk a little bit about golf and some of the things that are going on in the golf world. I think I'm not going to bore you with the scores. I sometimes do, and I apologize if that's boring to you. And, of course, it's always because it's, we're live here on Friday night, and the tournaments that are taking place right now still have another day or two to go before they get finalized, and a lot can happen. But I did want to talk very, very briefly about local resident, Palm Beach County resident Brooks Koepka, who won last week the CJ Cup in South Korea. But what was more important about that was it elevated him to number 1 in the world rankings. So I did want to give a shout out and congratulations to Brooks Koepka, who's just been playing crazy good, winning a couple of majors and just about everything else in sight. I think he's winning like 1 out of every 4 or 5 tournaments that he enters, which is just incredible, especially with the quality of golfers that are out there on the PGA Tour right now. And speaking about the PGA Tour right now, something that's been really steady and consistent for years and years and years now was Johnny Miller, who took care of the color commentating for NBC Sports. And he decided that he's going to hang it up and retire. And, he's a great golf course designer and, of course, was a wonderful golfer as well in his day. And the kind of guy that called it as he seed it, was not afraid to say that a particular golfer was having issues or problems or not showing the right respect for the game, perhaps. Made a few enemies along the way. Golfers don't always take too well to criticism like that, but he was never afraid and did a great job. So his last event is going to be in Arizona in February, and it was already announced that his replacement is another quite capable announcer and a great golfer as well, Paul Azinger. So at least the level of quality will continue, and I'm looking forward to hearing Paul Azinger as well. He always does a great job. So it'll be fun. Speaking of fun, another thing that I do and I report on for you every year, I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and that is the PGA Merchandise Show, which is coming up in January. And, of course, that is the largest show in the world annually for the golf industry. That's where the manufacturers bring out new product every year. Some manufacturers, like TaylorMade, bring out product more often than once a year. But that's where the buyers shop for the stuff that you'll find at your pro shop or at your local golf retailer. And an announcement was made this past week that registration is open for the industry for folks who want to sign up for the merchandise show. And kind of at the same time, while they were mentioning all the huge manufacturers that once again will be there, you know, like Cobra and Callaway and Ping and Srixon, Cleveland, Titleist, Wilson, Mizuno, Bridgestone, etc., there was one name that is the big one that decided that they will not be exhibiting this year at the PGA Merchandise Show, and that's TaylorMade. So this is not the first time they've done that. They've been there every year, but back in 2010 they skipped also. But, of course, the economy was perhaps a little bit different back then than it is now. And TaylorMade has said that they are going to be working with PGA professionals to make sure that golfers do find their equipment and perhaps investing their money differently. But it's not a good sign when the giant in the industry decides to not exhibit at the show internationally. Interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out. Sometimes what happens is a company like that kind of takes the lead and other manufacturers follow. So I hope it's not an indication of additional concerns with the economy. Obviously, we've had a brisk economy, which is good for the golf industry. Let's face it, golf clubs, golf is not typically inexpensive. And in good economic times, people will obviously spend a little bit more on golf and a little bit more on golf equipment. But the stock market the past week or two has not looked all too rosy. Housing in particular, as interest rates go up, people can't afford to buy houses like perhaps they can when interest rates are lower. So I think the housing market's getting a little bit jittery, which pushes companies like Home Depot. And I'm just hoping that this is not another sign that we are heading into another recession in the next year or two. I'll let you know a few years from now, because with the last recession, at least, we didn't know until a couple of years after we were in it that we were in it. I mean, maybe we felt it, but it wasn't official. So we'll have to see. But another recession will certainly affect the golf industry. Also, it came out this past week that the Tiger Woods Phil Mickelson pay-per-view match that is going to be taking place Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving in Las Vegas. There was a lot of talk about it, and we've been talking a little bit about it, that the interest may not be as high, especially after both Tiger and Phil did not do so well in the Ryder Cup. The talk was that it was going to be about $25 to purchase that, and the news came out that it's going to be $19.99, and this was announced by Turner Sports, and I think that's kind of significant to try and keep it under $20. I think they heard what we've been talking about and everybody else has been talking about, and I think now they're trying to look at maybe making it a bit of a bargain. You know, maybe if we make it cheap enough, people will buy it. I'm still not buying. I just don't like it. Obviously, the hype machine is starting. The two of them are starting to talk about some side bets already. So they're going to do their very best to get everybody enticed to go out there and spend their $20 to watch this thing. I'd rather spend my $20 and go play around, which, if we hurry this time of year, we maybe still can get a few rounds in for $20. But, all right, I think what we are going to do is we are going to take a moment or two out for a quick break and a message from our sponsor. And then we're going to come back and we're going to be talking to Mike I, the head golf professional at Piper's Landing Yacht and Country Club. You're not going to want to miss it, so stay tuned for more of the Golf and Travel Show.
Back I'm not smart enough. My resume's not up to date. They'll never pick someone like me. No one's hiring right now. Sound familiar? Don't let you get in the way of landing your next job opportunity. Sometimes it's best to leave it up to the experts. Did you know that the last reported job openings in the U.S. as of this recording was a series high of 6.7 million jobs, and that 1.1 million of those jobs were left unfilled? This means that there's a potential opportunity that's just right for you. And at Labor Finders, we're committed to helping you find it. Whether you're entering the workforce or looking for supplemental income in a job that starts right away, we got you covered. With over 300,000 clients across the U.S. and 20,000 active daily workers, we have the network and the experience to get you your next job. Contact one of our nearly 200 offices today to see how we can help in your job search. Simply visit us online at www.laborfinders.com or connect with us on social media by searching the username Labor Finders.
And we are back, and I'd say, about 6-7 months ago, I was on the market to buy a new house, and I was very close to buying a house in Piper's Landing Yacht and Country Club. The only thing that stopped me is I never have any time to play golf, and I couldn't take advantage of the beautiful golf course that they have. So I ended up somewhere else. But it is right there in my neighborhood, and some very good friends of mine just bought a house there. So I think that might be the best thing that could possibly have happened to me, and maybe them as well. But to find out about this wonderful country club up north from where I'm sitting now in Martin County, we have the head golf professional, Mike I, with us. Mike, are you there?
I am. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm great. Can't complain.
Well, good. I mean, how bad can it be working where you work in such a beautiful environment, right? Life is good.
Life is great. It's all changing now. They're all starting to come back.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? To be honest with you, the thing that attracted me when I was thinking about purchasing a house in Piper's Landing was the off season. Nothing personal. I know you must have some wonderful members there, but to me, the tranquility and the peace and quiet in the off season in a club that does have a lot of snowbirds, to me, that's wonderful. So obviously working there, you enjoy that too.
We do. That's when we get to play golf, actually.
You know what? I was going to ask you about that, and I got to tell you something. Typically, people who work in the golf business, whether it's me who moonlights in it in the journalist side or you as a teaching pro, most people tell me that they never have time to ever play golf. So now you're admitting that there is a time that you can play a little golf?
Summer times are great for that. Yeah, when the members head back up north, T-Sheet opens up. We're doing 20, 30 rounds a day in the summertime.
Nice.
Where normally in season we're doing, over 100, so we're packed out here. But, yeah, we find time in the summertime.
Now, do you ever compete in any of the local events that they have for PGA professionals? And obviously to do that, then you got to keep your game a little bit sharp.
Yeah, I haven't. I got 3 young children. So I will be as they get older and they're all in school. I'll be trying to get back out there a little more. But I haven't. I'm going to get back with that South Florida section very soon, though.
And your kids, are they going to be taking up the game?
My little one, my 6-year-old, really loves it. The other two, one's a cheerleader and one rides horses. So they have no interest, but the little one does.
The good news is with golf, they can wait and still take it up much later if they choose to, right?
Correct, yes.
Now, I also noticed in your on your website that you are a Seminole. My son went there, so we have something else in common.
Yeah, big Seminole. My wife went there. I went there. Our kids are actually named after buildings on campus.
Oh,
so
that's pretty cool.
Of the Seminoles.
Not Sally. That was the dorm that my son was in first. That I think they tore down because it was so old.
Yeah, no.
Good.
No, we got Campbell, Morgan, and Tanner.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Well, the other thing we have in common is a lot of our money is there, I guess.
Yes, there's a lot of truth to that.
Now, I had an opportunity to play your club, and the thing, I don't play that often, which is what I said earlier is why I decided to not move in there. I mean, I ended up in Hammock Creek up the road a piece, and I've been living there 4 or 5 months, and still since I've been living there, have not played once. So it just doesn't make sense to me at this point in my life, perhaps. But for people that have an opportunity to play golf, once a week, once a day, whatever, what a beautiful golf course you guys have.
Yeah, it's in wonderful shape, and it's a challenge. It's not you get something different every time you go out there.
You
it's
do.
Kind of a shot maker's course.
Especially, I noticed the greens. I mean, they were beautifully manicured. I wouldn't say they were incredibly fast. They played nice, and I'm sure that the summer weather has something to do with that. But they rolled beautifully, but there were a lot of very, very difficult pin placements. Those greens were not easy.
Yeah, a lot of undulation. It's actually it's tough to find a good pin placement some days when we have a lot of tournaments going on.
It's funny how we look at it from the opposite direction. To me, it's like, oh man, these are killer, and for you, it's like, where are we going to put it so that we can really challenge these golfers out there?
Challenge or try to make it easy on sometimes. I mean, sometimes we're looking for the easiest spot.
Well, this is true. Now again, I had mentioned, being that I don't play a lot, my game is not where it should be, and I guess every golfer would tell you that, which is why people like you exist. But the beauty, the natural beauty of the golf course, the homes, it's a well-established course, and the homes have been there for a while, but they're set back, they're beautiful, and the nature was just absolutely wonderful. What a great experience to be one with nature out there.
Yeah, we've actually been cleaning out some of the native areas and opening them up more.
Yep.
And working with the South Florida Water Management. So it's actually been making it look a lot better. Once you get some of those pepper trees out of there and it opens the hole up, and it's been a great project.
Now, I wanted to just briefly ask you about the yacht club. What are the issues these days with the water? Are you having any problems in your particular location?
We actually do see the algae come through. It does bloom up in our marina. So, I mean, just like everywhere else, you give it a few days and it goes away, but then it starts coming back. So.
But it's unique, of course, to be able to have a yacht club right adjacent to a golf club, too. I mean, that's not every place can boast that.
Yeah, it's actually protected, too. There's kind of, little dunes out there with some trees on it that kind of protect the boats from the elements coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice. They have a lot of slips, and I think there's actually an 80-foot boat down there, so it can accommodate pretty large boats.
Now, as I mentioned, being an established community, it's a traditional country club. So to be a member, you typically, I guess everybody lives there, or if you live there, you have to be a member, I guess, for starters.
Correct. Yeah, if you live here, you're a member.
And do you ever, in the summer, do you allow any summer memberships, or it's only residents?
Yeah, see, it's only residents, but in the summertime, we do partner with other clubs around the local area, Harbor Ridge or Yacht and Country Club, Hope Sound, and we do reciprocals. So their members can come to us and we can go to them.
Now
that's how you kind of venture out and play some other courses.
The houses, when I was looking, there is just a vast range. I mean, there are condos that are older that haven't been renovated that are extremely reasonably priced, and then there are waterfront mansions that are just incredible that are obviously a little bit more expensive. So you do have quite a range of prices for people who want to come in and purchase a home and become a member. And where are the people coming from? I mean, the people that I know that some homes are turning over. Are people typically still snowbirds that are buying homes and becoming members, or are you getting more year-round residents? What kind of mix are you getting?
It's actually almost 50-50 if you really think about it. We got some families that moved in, which we didn't have a lot of kids, but now we're starting to get kids moving in. And because of the school districts, of course, here in Palm City are amazing.
Yes.
But then, there's still a lot of Northerners. It's usually coming from friends of members that come from member guests or something like that. They come in, they enjoy the experience, so they buy a place here to come for 5-6 months out of the year. We do have some Canadians. About 15% are Canadians, so they're coming down to get away from their weather, as I would too.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, we have some members that are actually selling their home up north and trying to stay longer because they get to see how the summers are. And we're so open in this, you almost have the golf course to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if I purchased a house, like I say, I would want to take advantage of it all year as much as I can and be playing golf every day. My friends, they still have a home up in New York on Long Island, so they're going to be snowbirds to start. But he's retired and she's almost retired, so I hope one day they decide to stay down here year round. But they're obviously one of the profiles, I suppose, that you're attracting. So, and now tell me a little bit about the golf course and the clubhouse. Both of them have been renovated recently, correct?
We've been doing little minor renovations to the golf course, nothing major. We put a few bulkheads up because we had some erosion and things like that. But the renovation of the clubhouse happened 2.5 years ago, and it's amazing. I mean, it looks remarkable. We have a big party up there going on right now for a charity event tomorrow.
Nice.
So I'm actually popping up there right after this. But it all went great, and it looks wonderful.
Well, my wife has been dining with her. It's her close friend. So when they've been coming up shopping for homes in the community, she's been having lunch, and I've been hearing all about it, how nice it is. And then, of course, we had lunch after we played a couple of weeks ago. And I have to say that just the atmosphere, looking around at the members to see, how they're interacting with one another. And the folks that worked in the clubhouse, the servers, the bartenders, everybody was so friendly, so attentive, in spite of the fact that we were outsiders, we weren't members, and the welcome feeling was very noticeable.
Yeah, appreciate that. I'll pass that along. That's one of our goals here, to treat everybody like a member.
Now, so besides the golf and besides the yachts, I know there are other benefits, again, because I checked the place out. I know that you have a card room with all sorts of card games. There's a dog park. I believe you have tennis. Why don't you just fill me in on some of the other things people do besides just play golf?
Well, of course, we got the golf. We have the tennis. You're right. I think we have I think there's 8 tennis courts. They're looking at pickleball. That's the next big thing coming up.
Yeah, that's going crazy everywhere. Pickleball.
Yeah, it's sprouting up everywhere. It's becoming crazed. So we have the dog park. We have walking trails. We just adjacent to us, South Florida Water Management just cleared out a whole area, and we have a gate that lets us go in there, and we can walk the trails in there. It's kind of like a private walking area.
Nice.
Of course, the clubhouse. But, there's functions here. The Friday night dinners are busy. Every Friday night is busy, and then we have functions throughout the year. We have bands come in, and we have our big welcome back coming up in November. So it's a very active club, very active.
So speaking of that, I assume that you, besides, member guest type events, you probably have all sorts of tournaments and other kinds of things going on throughout the year?
Correct. Yeah, we have. I think I run maybe 5 to 6 leagues a week, regular league events, but we have the men's championships. We have a women's league, a 9-hole men's league, and a 9-hole ladies league. So we do a lot of tournaments in a short period of time.
I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm sitting here in Boca Raton, and the people who listen on the radio are a little bit south of where you're sitting, but so many people are getting a little bit tired of the congestion, whether it's in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Boca, etc. What can you tell those people who are down here perhaps and they like to play golf, to attract them or get the idea in their head that maybe they should think about moving north up to Piper's Landing?
I'll tell you this, when I have to drive down south to Palm Beach, it's a hassle to me because I'm not used to it. I'm used to the little bit of traffic we have up here, which is not much. You get stuck at a light and you're back there, and maybe you don't make the light. But
right. The people who complain in Palm City have no idea what it's like to drive in Boca, Miami, Fort Lauderdale on a regular basis. So, again, I do all of it, and I can tell you that Palm City is built up as everyone says it is. It's still a breath of fresh air compared to further south, and what a great place to either retire, enjoy your life to the fullest, or to raise kids, which is, I've been in Palm City now for about 25 years, so my kids went through the school district, and like you said, it's one of the highest rated school districts in all of Florida, so it's a great place to raise a family.
Correct. Yep, I can agree with all that.
And
I enjoy living in Palm City as well.
Oh, there you go. So, people think I'm crazy that I drive down here to do this, and I used to commute for work from Palm City to Miami, basically, so Miramar. So it was crazy, but talk about a relief when I pulled into that driveway and all that crazy traffic and congestion was behind me. So if people would like to find out a little bit more about Piper's Landing, I believe look at the homes, the golf course, etc. You do have a website. That's probably the best place for them to go.
Yep. Piperslanding.com.
Oh man, is that simple?
Pretty easy.
All right, so
all our contact information is on there. If you want to ask us a question, just feel free, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Well, and hopefully I'll find some new neighbors in Palm City, and so will you. We'll get a few of our listeners to move on up. So I want to thank you, Mike, for the hospitality a week or two ago when I had a chance to play, and for calling in and spending a little bit of time with us. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Have a great night.
All righty, you too. Okay, what we're going to do is we are going to take another quick break for a message from our sponsor, and hopefully we'll be able to get a hold of Natalie Schreiber from the Melting Pot of Boca Raton, and we can talk a little bit about their new menu. You're not going to want to miss it, so stay tuned, and we'll be back with more of the Golf and Travel Show.
Cinderella story, out of nowhere, a former greenskeeper now about to become Masters champion.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole! Have a project with an upcoming deadline but don't have the manpower to finish on time? Or maybe your business just took on a new client and has a sudden demand for qualified and professional workers. Whatever your business needs, we've got you covered. With over 40 years of experience in the staffing industry,